Hey, welcome back. This is Dr. Pepper, and this is the podcast, Dr. Pepper Really. Wouldn't it be great if there was a medication that could reverse aging that didn't cost very much and did not have known toxic effects? Well, what we'll be covering today is possibly in that field of medication. Some of you may already know of the potential that Metformin, an old diabetes medication, has on the aging process and may also have anti-cancer effects as well. In a recent scientific publication, the investigators reported that giving metformin to middle-aged monkeys was able to reverse the aging process significantly. And in human terms, it appears that the ability of the brain to function improved as if the clock was turned back 18 years. So we're talking about something really substantial here. And if this works out to be a useful treatment in humans, this is going to make a big difference to a lot of people. So I'm excited to have you listen to the information right now. Something else that we're doing here today is we're going to do an experiment by using a new format where the material that I prepared will be converted by artificial intelligence into a conversation. And from my point of view, the conversation seems really interesting and listenable. And I hope you enjoy it, and I'd like you to share your impressions if you hang around to the end and want to leave some comments. So let's get going, and let's hear from our conversationalists all about the new insight into metformin as an anti-aging medication.
All right, so we're diving into something kind of interesting today, I think.
Yeah.
Metformin. It's one of those things like you've probably heard of it.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't thought about it too much.
Right.
But it's
a diabetes drug. Right.
It is a diabetes drug, and it's been making a lot of waves.
It's got this whole like other thing going on though, right?
It does, yeah, like beyond blood sugar and all that.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating is this contrast.
Yeah.
Right? You got metformin, been around ever.
Yeah.
And it's like cheap.
Yes.
But everybody's like, ooh, metformin?
Yeah, like Fountain of Youth, all this stuff.
Yeah. So is it a medical marvel or is it just hype?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Huge amount of hype, yeah.
Like that friend who's been quiet, been in the background, and you're like,
right.
Wait a second.
You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, what's going on?
Exactly.
And the fact that Silicon Valley's like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, metformin?
Yeah, they're all over it.
That just adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's like the tech investors are all taking it like vitamins or something, trying to like outsmart aging.
Uh-huh. The biohacking?
Yeah.
It's very much part of that whole like longevity biohacking thing, which is interesting.
Okay, so before we get too far, I mean, what is it?
Okay, so
for those who don't know.
Metformin, it's a diabetes medication.
Right.
Been around for over 50 years.
Yeah.
Primarily used to regulate blood sugar in people with type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so it's been quietly doing this job.
Yeah, yeah.
And now all of a sudden everybody wants it to be this like
I know.
Anti-aging.
Yeah, everybody and their mother's talking about it for anti-aging. It's really taken off.
How does it work?
So it's got these different ways it works.
Okay.
But it all kind of ties into this blood sugar thing, right?
Okay.
So it has these three main mechanisms.
Okay.
Reducing glucose production in the liver, slowing down glucose absorption in the gut, and enhancing insulin sensitivity.
Okay, let's break those down.
Yeah.
So reducing glucose production in the liver, that means like less sugar jumped into the bloodstream.
Yeah, less sugar being made in the liver.
Okay.
So your liver's not pumping it out as much.
Got it. Okay.
And then slowing down glucose absorption in the gut.
Okay.
That helps prevent those big spikes after you eat.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, keeps those levels more stable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then enhancing insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
That's basically making your cells better at using insulin.
Okay.
Which is the hormone that helps your cells absorb glucose from the blood.
Got it.
So it's kind of like a three-pronged approach to keeping those blood sugar levels nice and steady.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how it works for diabetes. But then what's everybody so excited about with like the...
Right. So that's the thing. It's like these mechanisms, they have these ripple effects, you know?
Okay.
They kind of influence other things in your body. And some of those things are linked to aging and disease.
Okay. So we're talking about wrinkles,
Potential.
cancer, the whole nine yards.
There's like a whole other side of metformin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So where do we even begin?
Like, how do we separate what's real and what's not? Well, let's start with the anti-aging stuff, right?
Yeah.
There was this really interesting study done on monkeys.
Okay.
And they found that metformin actually seemed to reverse certain aging markers.
Wait, so like Benjamin Button, but with medication?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay, what do you mean?
So they gave these monkeys metformin.
Okay.
And they didn't just see, like, physical improvements. Their cognitive function got better, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they were thinking younger.
Yeah, like sharper, like years had been taken off.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. There.
Okay, but that's monkeys. What about us?
That's the $1 million question.
Right.
Right. Can we get this, too?
Yeah.
And that's where the TAME trial comes in.
The TAME trial. What's that?
So TAVE stands for Targeting Aging with Metformin.
Okay.
It's a big human trial looking at whether metformin can actually delay age-related diseases in people.
So that's pretty cutting edge.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Any insights so far, or is it too early?
It's still ongoing.
Okay.
You know how these things go. It takes time.
Right.
And funding's a big issue. Always is.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, the monkey thing alone.
It's pretty compelling.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So what else are they looking at for metformin's anti-aging potential?
So one area that's really interesting is how metformin affects telomeres.
Telomeres.
Yeah, you know, like the protective caps on the ends of your DNA, like those little plastic things on your shoelaces.
Oh, right.
They keep them from fraying.
Okay.
So telomeres are like that for your DNA.
Yeah.
And as you get older, they get shorter.
Right.
And some research suggests that metformin might slow that down.
Interesting. So it's like, hold your horses, telomeres.
Yeah, like not so fast.
Yeah, you're staying put. Now, and then on top of that, we're hearing that it might be influencing gene expression too.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool research going on there.
So it's like this conductor almost fine-tuning how your genes are working as you get older.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild, right?
It is. So we've got monkey makeovers, telomere protection, gene tweaking.
It's a lot.
Anything else? What about cancer? I mean, we've heard a lot about that with metformin, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of studies on metformin and cancer.
Okay.
Especially pancreatic, breast, and colon cancer.
And it's showing like a reduced risk with those.
Yeah, a lot of the research suggests that using metformin might actually lower your risk.
See, that's what I don't get. If this is true, you've got this drug that's, what, pennies compared to some of these cancer treatments? It just seems like, why isn't everyone talking about this?
It's a good question.
Is it too good to be true or what?
Well, more research is always good, but it's definitely promising.
So how do they think it's working? Like, what are the experts saying about how it might be actually like impacting cancer development?
So there's this guy, Dr. Andrew Chan at Harvard.
Sure.
He's done a lot of work on this. And he suggests that metformin's kind of like, imagine your body's like a machine, right? Cancer's like throwing a wrench in the works. He's saying metformin's like a shield.
Okay.
It might stop those wrenches from even getting thrown in the first place.
So that'll about wrap up our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed the conversational format, and we will be continuing with the anti-cancer effects of metformin in the next episode. If you are motivated, I would really like to hear from you about your thoughts about the new conversational format and whether it did make the information more accessible and enjoyable to listen to, aside from my raspy voice. I also need to mention that the podcast, Dr. Pepper Really, is only for educational purposes and not meant for medical advice or treatment. So stay well, and I hope you return soon to Dr. Pepper Really to catch up on the latest in metabolic health issues. Bye now.